There's one place that causes a lot of difficulties for carvers, and that is a place like this, where you're coming downhill, you're carving downhill along the grain in one direction, and you're coming downhill in the opposite direction, and you're trying to meet in a valley in the middle. So let me just show you in detail what's happening in this sort of circumstance. So here's a little example of the grain going downhill in one direction and downhill in the other. So you're carving like so, and then you need to carve in the other direction like so, and you can see that it's very difficult to meet with the grain in the middle. You can't match the fibres equally. So you tend to clean up on one side, then you clean up on the other side, and before you know it, you've got this hard angle which is slowly descending into the carving. The answer lies in the slicing cut again. In this case, we need to go across the grain and put a slice on it. So you would pick a gouge that matches the curve that you're trying to create, and then you come sideways to the grain, at right angles to the grain, but you slice in one direction or the other. And in that way, you're able to remove and clean up that little junction very carefully. And that's the way to deal with any difficult grain. And the rule is that if you find the grain tearing in one direction or the other, if you go across it at 90 degrees with a slice, you should be able to deal with it. Let me give you another demonstration of where this slicing cut is absolutely brilliant. Here's a piece of wood. We want to clean off the surface like this. You can see here that the grain is rising up. This means that the piece of wood can't be planed from one direction or the other without tearing grain in the opposite direction. You can see here the marks. So, in a carving sense, what we need to do is come across the grain and slice like so. So we're coming across the grain, and if it's tearing this way, we can sweep that way. If it's tearing that way, we can sweep this way. So between this left and right movement as I pass across the grain, you can deal with any grain at all. On the other side of the wood here is a big knot. Now look at this, we can even slice through this knot, cleaning it up with this slicing cut. So yet again, the slicing cut is absolutely priceless technique to have in your repertoire.